All right, Ryan, turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm Ryan from the fire department, right over there. I'm the fire inspector on the airport here, so I do all of the fuel inspections and occupancy inspections throughout the port, and then I also do all of the fire extinguisher training and maintenance for the port. So I do live fire extinguisher trainings for all of the ramp employees and all the fuelers that work on the airfield, and so I'm going to give you a condensed version of that, since I feel like you guys are maybe a little bit more versed in hazards than maybe some other people are. Anyway, thanks for coming out. Thanks for having me. Happy Safety Week, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about is fire extinguishers. They're pretty straightforward. What we're using today are BC extinguishers as opposed to an ABC extinguisher. ABC extinguishers are your all-purpose fire extinguishers you find in a house. You know, most common. Everything that's in the airport is going to be an ABC extinguisher. You can tell on the label, it'll say ABC. These are all just BC extinguishers because we are working near liquid fuels, and the hazard that is most prevalent out here is a liquid fuel fire. So all of the extinguishers that you see out on the airfield are BC extinguishers for that purpose. Another thing to note on the airfield, if you're ever in a situation where you need it, there are at every gate 150-pound Purple K extinguishers. They're big green wheeled extinguishers that are a glorified version of this, but it's specifically for liquid fuel fires. So I don't think it'll happen out here, but if you're over at the terminal and you had a fire or spill, that's another option for you to use in addition to these fire extinguishers. I also brought water cans over because we're trying to be a little bit more conservative with our chemicals that we use. So I have a water can here, which is really just pressurized water. This would be used for an A-class type fire. So A fires are your papers, woods, anything normal combustible stuff. That's a type A type fire. So just like the fire department uses water on house fires, that's what this is. This is a water can for putting out small fires. B fire is a liquid fuel fire, which we kind of talked about already. Class C fire is either one of those, but with electricity associated with it. So if you had like a liquid fuel fire that was started from a shorted wire or something like that, if you remove the electricity from it, then you just have a Class B fire, and you can use any of these extinguishers. What you don't want to do is use that Class A fire extinguisher near the airfield. That's because they destroy electronics. That's the biggest thing. So that Class A chemical that's in there is ammonium phosphate mix. It's deadly for aircraft and electronics. So any of that chemical that gets into an aircraft or any of the electronics, it fries it right away. So that's why we don't use those. All the fuel trucks have BC extinguishers on them. Fire safety. We have the wind kind of blowing at our back right now. We do that on purpose, right? Because we don't want the products of combustion blowing back in our face. If we're going to go fight a fire, we want to have it blowing towards our back so it's going away from us. So if you have the opportunity to think about that and you have a fire that you got to deal with, don't let the crap blow you in the face, right? Go to the other side and find a way to fight it on the upwind side. So that's one thing to consider. Second thing to consider is the size of fire that you have and what you have to use as a tool, right? So can anybody guess how long you would have extinguishing fire with this?
About 30 seconds.
Half that. So about 15 seconds is what you got. Squeezing the handle, deploying chemical, maybe 15 seconds. So this is what you'd find on forklifts, equipment. All of our rigs, individual trucks will have this type of an extinguisher on it. Okay, so this one, you probably get about 30 seconds. 30, 40 seconds of total extinguishment time. So the long and short of that is know that if you have a fire and you got to use an extinguisher, that it's going to do something to it, right? Gentleman shared a story with me just a little bit ago. He had a truck fire. He tried to use an extinguisher, got the fire all the way down. Extinguisher died out, ran out of propellant Fire came right back up, burnt his truck. So you got to know that you can do something with it. And if you can't, call 911. Non-emergent comms is what we're supposed to do here, right? So if you have an emergency, you call non-emergent comms. They're going to dispatch us right away, and we'll get to the site pretty quickly. So know what to do. Know that you can do something about it. If you can't, back out, isolate the area, keep yourself safe, stuff like that. So any questions from anybody? Anything? Okay. So the acronym for using fire extinguishers is PASS. P-A-S-S. Anybody want to guess what it means?
Point.
Huh? Yes, there you go. See, we're on the right track. So all extinguishers will have a plastic tamper switch on them, tamper tag. They'll have a pin, and then they'll have some sort of extinguishant nozzle, right? So the pass is to pull the pin, aim the extinguisher at what you want, squeeze to deploy the extinguishment, right? And then sweep. P-A-S-S. Pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. Pretty straightforward. Important thing to note about that is when you're actually fighting fire or spraying extinguishment onto the fire, smoke and flames are a byproduct of combustion and fire, so don't spray at the smoke and flames. You spray at the base of the fire because that's what's burning, right? If you think about your campfire, your logs are burning, so the fire and the process of pyrolysis is happening on the log. So spray at that. That make sense? Who wants to try it? There we go. So what we're going to do is we have a propane prop. All I'm going to do is, it's a pan of water here. I have some propane. We're going to pump propane into the water. It'll be bubbling. I'm going to set it on fire. Whoever wants to do it, I encourage everybody to do it. You get like free raffle stuff, I guess, and free things tomorrow. And the, fun of saying that you deployed a fire extinguisher for real. So come up and join us. But yeah, we got plenty of them. You're just going to put the fire out, and that's it, right? And you'll be pros. You can come take my job. So, all right, if anybody wants to try, I have a water can as well. We can do something different, right? It'll put the fire out as well, but it's a different size, it's a different weight. Just to try it, we have a bunch of these little guys here, so everybody can have a chance with those if they'd like. And I have a couple of the larger ones. I would say if we want to use the larger one, we'll just do a quick shot, and then we can get 4 or 5 people out of each one of those. But I would say everybody should grab one of these because this will give you the chance to break a tab, and pull the pin, and do everything that you would do with a real fire extinguisher. So that being said, take volunteers. All right, so that's your fire, and you can approach it and put it out. All right.
Safe.
Pretty easy. You can. Yep. Go ahead. There you go. Nice.
Not today, Satan.
Go for it. Yeah. Look at that. Quality. Nice. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And the other thing about these chemical extinguishers is that they're removing the oxygen from the fire, so they smother it. The reason why I think that truck fire reignited is, one, it's metals, right? A lot of vehicle fires have combustible metals in them, and those burn very, very hot, right? And so when that fire gets going, it's very difficult to put out. Put water on it, it'll explode. So. What's that? What's the chemical that's in the ABCs or in the BC? Both. Well, the ABC is like it's a monoammonium. I have it on my clipboard here. It's like a. Yeah, monoammonium phosphate is what an ABC is. All right. These Class Bs are sodium bicarb, so you might see that on there. They're also CO2, right? So you wouldn't want to do this in a confined space because it's not really great for you. So. Not the kind of thing you would want to, expose yourself to on a regular basis. All right. We wear respiratory protection when we do that kind of work. So I again, upwind, right? So it's blowing at your back to kind of keep it as safe as possible. There we go. Yeah. With authority. Put a little more water in here real quick. All right, who's up? Okay. Yeah. One-handed. Solid. See, I told you, everybody wants bigger and better, right? Oh, look at that.
Thank you.
Funny story about that prop over there. Every year, FAA requires that we do live fire burns, which is basically a liquid fuel fire. And I'm gonna wait for this plane to go by. Basically, we can't do it during the daytime anymore because we're burning jet fuel, right? Diesel and jet fuel is the mix that we have over there, and when you burn that stuff, it is really nasty, black, ugly smoke, right? And so perception is everything, and every year in March, the people who live on the banks over on the Vancouver side think that the airport is burning down because every year in March there's a plane crash right over here. But it's also when we do all of our live fire training for the FAA, so we have to do it at night so that they don't see the column of smoke, right? That's what it is. We may not even be able to do it much more anymore anyway because of just changes in the way that they do fire training nowadays. Class A fires are starting to become a thing of the past. We're gonna probably refurb that whole prop as a large propane prop, which will be much cooler, but not as fun to fight fire on. So anyway, if you get the opportunity, it's in March. You can go check it out at nighttime. It's pretty amazing. I have some pictures. I don't know if you guys have access to the social network here at the port or not, but there's pictures on there of the fire, and the size of the flame is super impressive, and it's fun. So anybody else want to do this? Somebody can hold that, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Excellent. That's all it takes. All right. Ready? Oh, man. Jeez. Didn't even give it a chance. Oh.
One more time. Yeah.
But so we had like what, 4 or 5 people deploy that one. Still got some life in it.
Yeah.
So just goes to show you that the amount of work that you can do with the different tools. These little guys are kind of just an incipient fire deal. Do as much as you can and get out, right? And the other ones are, you could actually accomplish something with it. So, yeah. There you go. Move it around. I think Extreme is losing pressure. Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to do anything now. Give him one of those. There you go. See? That was a good way to illustrate how the water doesn't actually put it out like the chemical does, right? The chemical is going to smother it, put it out right away. The water's not. The water's going to push it around, and that could extinguish it, right? So, just stuff to know. Give it a hot sec to burn through some of that chemical.
For those of you getting these, yes, write your name, company, phone number, and then hold on to them. We'll put the one with your
There you go, right?
the bucket's marked.
Anybody else? Last chance for glory.
I want to try the water can.
All right, I got another one for you. Well, yeah, this one still got some pressure in it, so, yep. See?
Hey, Nick, that's how it's done.
Squirt gun battles. All right. We feel good about that? All right. Thanks a lot for coming out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Make sure you applaud yourself. Make sure if you want, there's carabiners and giveaways and stuff. Have at it. Coasters, yeah. The night crew decimated my candy supply, so.